The first thing you need to have is a jerk string. Okay. It's one of those things that you can't stop. Once you've got your broom all tied on and say, oops, I don't have a jerk string. Don't work that way. So I've got a couple of them made, and then I'm going to show you how to make them. So jerk string is basically, like 6 to 8 inches in a loop. That's all it is. And you see it's got a knot at the end, right? So I'm right-handed. And when I pull my jerk string, I'm going to pull it to the right, and I'm going to thread my little tail end of the cut off end of the broom. We'll get there. But I'm going to pull it this way. And the reason that I'm going to do it that way is because if I pulled it to the left, the knot will grab underneath there and it's not going anywhere. But we'll get to that. So I always leave a couple of them out here. And I've got some extra nylon from another project. So we're talking like, you don't want it super long. So like 12 to 14 inches. I'm just going to cut it. And basically, I'm going to double it, right? And then I'm going to take this and make an overhand knot. Pretty basic stuff. Okay. And it doesn't hurt to make a couple just so you know where they're at. Okay. That's pretty much it. So when you are taking this extra stuff here, when you are taking the twine off the spindle, you want it to come off the top. Off the top like that. Now, when I'm starting, I want to do an overhand knot. Okay. And then I want this to slide on the long string versus the short one. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a loop. And then where that X is, I'm going to hold it. I'm going to turn that upside down. Take my fingers from the other hand and go through it, catch it. And then I'm going to bring this up through here a little bit. So that's where we're going to start with. Okay, so we don't have a wooden handle on this per se. So we're going to start by getting our broom corn all set up here. And if you notice, these are all in sections. There's like 2 sections of red and 2 sections of orange, 2 sections of yellow, 2 of green, and then I think I only got 1 of black. Yep, I do. I could have done 2, but I didn't. So one thing I'm going to caution you on, you don't want, we're going to call this a handle, but it isn't really, real thick. And the reason for that is because you got to get your hand around it when you're pulling on this. If you get it really wide, it makes it harder on your hands. Okay. We're going to talk about these guys here, which are advances, and these are wraps. This is just kind of your preview. Okay. So after I set this all up, we're going to change direction and go back over and sort our broom corn. So when I'm doing broom corn, and I got some brown here too. I'm going to try that. Doesn't really look brown. Does, I guess, when you look at the black. I'm going to do the black first, and then the second one, I'm going to do some brown. So when I'm doing these layering of broom corn, I want it about, I would say like a spaghetti serving. I mean, you could get technical and get a weight out and weigh it. I don't think you need to do that. You know, I mean, it is just a broom. So, and you'll learn, you know, when you get too much in your hand, you think, oh, this is a little bit big. Like, let me show you. Next month's is a hawk tail. And this, I got a little bit too big for my hand. Okay. That's just a little bit too big versus this one. That's a little bit smaller. You see the difference there? And of course, then this had the overlay on it as well, but it's a little bit big for my hand. So in retrospect, if I would have done it again, I would have made these layers a little smaller, and I will for the class in December. So, all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to lay out our colors here. It doesn't matter, you know, what colors go where. I'm going to start it out just the way I did it. so that I'm not confusing everybody. So my first color on this is red. So I'm gonna take just a little bit, like I say, we're gonna call that like one spaghetti serving, and I'm gonna layer these. I don't know if you can see those colors or not. So I've got 2 of red, 2 of green, 2 of each color, 2 of black, 2 of yellow. And you should have enough, I think, for a couple brooms there. So all I'm gonna do is just take these little guys and put them out there so that they're easy for me to see and grab. And put these other ones to the side. So if you miss something or you're late to class, everything has been or is being recorded. So here's my yellow. And if you just need a refresher about what the heck did you say about this, then you can go, after class, I'll send you a link that takes you to the class video. And then what I do, because Zoom only gives you so much space. If I teach another class, they'll say, you've run out of space. So what I do then is I go back and condense it. And then I put it on YouTube so you guys can, access it forever. How's that? All right, so this should be good. My little layout here of all my colors. Start with red, and you're gonna hear me tap. That's me tapping my broom corn on the table so it levels that out. See how that's straight? Okay. So I've got my twine here, and I am gonna put it on this way, which is a little different. Now, here's what's different about doing a turkey wing. Usually you start way up here, and if I get off camera, let me know, would you? Because I can't see it, my back's to the screen. So usually you start up here, but on a turkey wing, you start down here. And what I try to do is start it as close to where it starts getting brushy as possible, because I want to put a whole bunch of layers in. I'm gonna have to back this up a little bit so it's tight. So I'm gonna tighten it up. And then this little guy, for whatever reason, doesn't want to tighten up on me. So I'm just going to kind of hide him in here. All right. And I'm going to wrap a couple times. Now, what I do is I use that knot.
We lost sight of your hands.
Yeah. Okay. Can you see me now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I try to keep this knot in the front of the place where I'm going to do my advances. So that tells me this is the, if I had a pretty side and an ugly side, this is the ugly side. Okay. So I'm going to put one more layer in. Where's my broom? I take that back. I'm going to do 4 wraps. So I got 1, 2, 3. This is a 4th wrap. Then I'm going to put that 2nd layer in. And I want to measure it so that I'm going to lay this in between the existing broom that I'm working on and the spindle, okay? And I want to line this up here as best I can. And then I'm going to take this tail and try to stick it in between it. I don't want to look at it. And I'm going to wrap for 4 again. So when I wrap, I'm going towards the stalk end, not the brush end. And I'm only wrapping, or I'm only adding, this is my 4th one, on, I'm gonna go one more. I'm only wrapping on once, or no, I'm sorry. I'm only adding broom corn to one side, and I'm only adding between my broom and the spindle. Does that make sense? So now my next one is going to be orange. Okay. So I'm going to bring that so that it's level up here. And I'm going to wrap for 4. People ask me, what do you do with your feet? So I'm going to show you what I do with my feet. I've got them both here. And when I need a little bit more, this is what I do. But I've seen people lift up both feet. So it's totally up to you how it feels. And I mean, that's kind of what my feet decided to tell me what to do. Okay, so this is my fourth wrap. And then I'm going to add another orange one or pumpkin next to that. Once again, I'm gonna level it up here, and I'm only adding on one side. Now, if you're doing a hawk tail, you'd be doing it on both sides. That's next month's class. And we're gonna wrap for 4. Now, I want this to not be straight. So I'm gonna start putting some bend in that. So it flares out like a hawk tail. Okay, so I've got 4 layers in there so far, and I got a little bit of a bend. But that bend happens because you put it in there. It doesn't happen by itself. Okay, so now I've got 4 layers in there, and I'm going to the yellow. Once again, I'm trying to line that up with my top. Some bright yellow, huh? And I'm gonna wrap for 4. Now, every Sunday I do what's called a clean sweep Sunday. And I put some kind of a broom up there that I woven for the week. I'm behind because I was gone to Hawaii for a week. But if you're looking for some inspiration, just maybe it's one new different idea, but it's up there every Sunday. You can check out the YouTube site. And if you subscribe to it, then it'll send you a notification that there's a new one up. So this is my second layer of that yellow. I'm gonna keep wrapping it. So the reason that these are called turkey wings is because originally Cherokee used turkey wings for brooms, and they flared out like that. So that's the story I've heard anyways, and I'm sticking to it. So we've evolved from the real thing to broom corn fan. It's my 4th one. See how I'm getting some nice bend on that. And then I'm going to add a second green. Got some nice flare on it. Now on a turkey wing, you don't sew them down. I suppose you could if you wanted to, and that's where a broom vise comes in. But I've never seen one sewn down, so I don't teach it that way, and I don't think you need to. So now we'll have the hawktail class in December, and then I think in January, what we'll do is start doing some of the braided ones with the stem, the knurl. So I'm gonna start like with a cobweb and a hearth broom, and then go to a round broom and a sweeper is what I'm thinking. So if you've been wanting to learn how to make a broom with the knurl and do the actual braid, and if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'll get one and show it to you as soon as I tie this one on. Okay, so that's about 4 of that, and this is going to be my last little batch here of actually adding in the broom corn. Okay, so that's 4. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an advance. And remember I said I want to do the advances on the ugly side. Okay, so here is an advance. Actually, you know what? If you look at this one, all I did was wrap this one for a while. So I'm going to wrap this to up here. And then this is up to you guys. You can continue to wrap it all the way up if you want, or you can do an advance. This first one, I'm going to show you. I'm going to wrap it for about maybe 12 times, and then I'll show you how to do an advance. Okay, so I got 2 options I can do with this wild fuzzy stuff here. I can cut it back, or because it's nylon, I can take butane lighter and burn it. But then I got to watch this, so something to think about. Okay, so this is where I can see my knot. So I'm going to call that my ugly side, even though that's hanging out there. So I want to do my advances on the ugly side. Okay, so this is what an advance looks like. You push it up a little bit with your thumb and you hold it there. And then you come around, bring it down just a little bit, do a wrap. Now I'm going to do, we'll do 3 and then do another advance. And if you were going to do like this fancy over the handle braided stuff, I don't know where I put my thing. You don't really have to do all this wrap. You can do this advance, get it up, get it finished so that you can change it out and put the overlay on top of it. I don't know what I do with that broom. I'll get it here in a minute. So I've got 3 there and I want to do an advance again. So I'm going to take my thumb, push it up, bring it around. Okay. I'm going to wrap that for 3 times. So I try to do all my advances on the same side. And that way I think, okay, so if I want this to be the side that shows, I can do that. Or I'm going to do another advance here. If I want this side to be the side that shows, that's cool too. So I like that advanced look. So a lot of times when I'm doing one, I will go ahead and make that the side that, you know, I'm displaying, but it's a personal preference. There's no right and wrong. It's just a broom. Okay, so I'm going to bring it over again because I got 3 wraps. Okay. I did one extra there, but it's okay. So I'm going to call this, I'm going to do one more set here, and then I'm going to call it good and show you how to put your jerk string in. Okay, so this is going to be my final wrap. So I'm going to take my jerk string. Remember I said I'm right-handed. So Now I got to make a decision. Is this the side that I want showing on the wall? Or is this the side I want? Well, I like that zigzag look. So this is going to be my pretty side, or the side that I show off. So that means I'm going to come back around here before I start. And I'm going to take my jerk string and put it underneath that twine. And you notice, remember I said I'm right-handed, so I want the knot in my right hand, and I'm going to jerk this way. Okay, so then I start. And you want to do is the same thing as, in advance. Nothing's really changed here. That's my pretty side. Okay, so I want to wrap for about 4 or 5 times, let's say. Right on top of that string, making sure that the string stays flat. Okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that tension with my thumb, and I'm going to grab, you can use either scissors or an X-Acto knife, and pop that string so that it's off the spindle, and I'm still holding that so it doesn't unravel on me. I'm going to take that string that I just cut, and I'm going to thread it through that back loop on the left-hand side, still holding that tension. I'm switching my thumbs. I come over here to my grab string, jerk string, could be a grab string, jerk it through, hence the name, jerk string. Then you can wrap that around anything and just tighten it up. Cut away from you, trim that stuff that's left over. So now I'm going to trim up this wild looking hairy stuff here. So this blade, I talked about this last time. I'm not overly thrilled with these. And I know there was a lady that asked where I got them. You can't even get them anymore. And they're not that good. I'm going to try out something else that I found that's not necessarily made for doing brooms, but I thought it's got to be better than this thing. The good thing that it does is it gives you a long blade to cut with. The bad thing is this doesn't have a very good edge on it. So I don't think it's the best thing to use. So basically you're just sawing through this stuff and you'll see it popping off. That's a good thing. Now you can do this with an X-Acto knife. You don't have to have these. The only advantage that this has over an X-Acto is that the X-Acto doesn't have a longer blade. But other than that, I've used an X-Acto for a long time, and I don't see this being a big benefit, except that you can saw it more, and it does cut it quicker. So there's that. So there is one of these guys done. I'm going to trim that up while I'm looking at it. So the other thing I want to do is I'm going to put a little bit more bend on this. So I'm just going to come through my different layers here. Bend it a little bit more. Give it some memory. And we have made a turkey wing. How cool is that? So here's my piece of suede lacing. And since I don't have any advances on it, I could use either side. So what I'm going to do is I'll end up cutting some of this off, but I'm going to put that on there on the side, and I'm going to start wrapping that in as a hanger, a woven in hanger. How cool is that? So that's down a little bit long. Let me bring that up. And I want it on either side of the broom. So I can just wrap that in there. And then I got a cool hanger. And I can either put a knot in this, or I can just trim that off. Once you get that all wrapped in, it's not going anywhere. But it doesn't have to be suede lacing. You know, it could be anything you want, but I just got a bunch of suede lacing sitting around. So I thought, oh, no, that makes a nice hanger. And if you wanted, so let's see, I've got like what, 4 wraps there and 4 wraps there. Then I could go underneath. Can I do that? Oh, that's a lot of hassle. Something to figure out later. So, but you can incorporate design into this and like go underneath for 4 and then come back up. Let's try that just for grins. So we're going to keep wrapping, just pull that back. And this time we'll go 4 or 5 and not have it on there. And then we'll put it back on. Okay, so now we'll put it back on so that it is, can I do that? On top of it. Here, let's back it up some. So you see how that looks on the side? That's kind of cool, huh? What we learn as we go. So then I'll do it for 5 more on top. And so you get something decorative on the sides too. It's sort of like even with 1/4 inch flat oval, but it just is going to give you a hanger. Yeah. You don't have to do 5. You could do as many as you want, or 4. I'm just kind of winging it here for you. So I want this underneath again. So I'm gonna put it back here and weave for about 5, and then we'll pull it back up again. Isn't that cool on the side? Just a little more elements to jazz up your broom. So I'm getting pretty close to the end here, so I'll probably do that one more time, and then we're gonna do the jerk string. So you can see that when you wrap the whole thing, it takes quite a bit more nylon string, but I really like the effect. It makes a nice strong broom handle. It's just one more thing to make you a little different. Okay, so this is the last time I'm going to do this, and I'm going to put my jerk string on it. Straighten that up a little bit. Once it gets on there tight, it's hard to move. Okay, so I'm going to call that good. And I'm going to put my jerk string in right there. Once again, remember I'm right-handed. I'm going to be pulling this way, so the knot is in my right hand. And we wrap. About, oh, I don't know, 4 or 5 is usually good. You want to make sure that it doesn't get crinkled in there because you're going to want to pull it. That looks like it's good. So I'm going to hold my pressure here with my thumb. Cut that string, change it, take that string and thread it through that loop. Come over here and grab my jerk string. Jerk it through. And I want to tighten it up. So scissors, X-Acto, whatever. Make sure you cut away from yourself. So here we got that cool hanger. And we're going to trim this stuff off. Just a sawing motion. That's a fun thing about broom corn, kind of pops. A little bit of pressure. Pretty easy. So, like Troy said, you could sand the top of that and make it more oval if you wanted to. Okay, that way I could get these little nibbies off there. But see, that's a pretty cool hanger then, huh?
It is.
And like I say, you could, I'm gonna trim this off, I don't need that anymore. You could knot that, but you don't really need to because that is not coming out of there. So I'm just going to trim these up a little bit. And you can see that it's important to keep them lined up because once they're wrapped, they're pretty much there. That one's pretty straight. The other one could have been a little better. So there you go, all wrapped up. Way to do your new hanger that we can hang up there. Let's see, I got a couple twists in that too, something to think about. You can't really tell it, but I can. Hey, it's Jill. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and like our videos and subscribe. That way you're always updated on anything basket related that we have on our Jill Choate Basketry channel. You won't miss a thing. Please like us and subscribe. See you next time.